Hello everyone, welcome to another colored pencil drawing tutorial, and today we are going to focus deeply on drawing realistic skin tones using colored pencils. And the pencils that I chose is Prismacolor Premier Wax-based colored pencils. So we are gonna be drawing realistic skin tone, detailed skin tone using wax-based Prismacolor Premier right here. And for our reference photo, this is what I chose because it's a female skin tone, but as you can see here, this is very detailed. You can see the actual skin pores. So since we are using Prismacolor, as we know, this is wax based, so I'm gonna show you a technique on how to create more detailed skin tone with wax based colored pencils, because usually these kinds of skin tones are perfect for using oil based colored pencils like polychromos, but Prismacolor is wax based. But I will show you a technique on how to build this kind of skin tone, detailed skin tone, using the wax based colored pencils easily, because when you use wax based, normally you cannot go down to the details of the skin tone as much as the polychromos, the oil base. So we are going to do that on this particular drawing tutorial. And then these are some of the materials that I will need to be able to do the skin tone. So I have here my erasers. We have there the Mono Zero, the electric eraser. I will use the Prismacolor marker, the black marker of the Prismacolor. And then I will use also this blender, the Prismacolor colorless blender, blending stump. I might use the craft knife also for the skin tone, and then this indenting tool also to make detailed skin tone, and brush. I normally don't use brush for colored pencils, but today you will see the big role of this brush on this particular drawing technique using colored pencils, drawing realistic skin tone. Let's not forget my sharpeners, and then my needed eraser right here. So I use for Prismacolor just a metal single hole handheld sharpener right here, and of course the paper. And in my opinion, the best paper for Prismacolor or any wax-based colored pencils is the #1 paper that I love to use whenever I use wax-based colored pencils like Prismacolor is the Strathmore Bristol 400 series smooth surface right here. So this is, as you can see here, this is the smooth Bristol, but when you try to feel it, there is a very nice tiny textures, okay, of the paper that is, I think, perfect for wax-based colored pencils. So join me, let's start drawing some serious skin tone. Let us enjoy and learn together. So I already did the outline of the drawing right here. I use the graphite tracing technique that I've been using, but it's up to you. Whatever it is that you want to use just to get a perfect outline, you can do grid method, but that is a little bit time consuming. You can use light box in order to get your outlines correct, because we are doing realistic portrait, and that is really important to start with a perfect outline. Okay, now the next step to do is to get a nice clean white paper right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at my reference photo and see what is the dominant color or tone of the drawing. So as I analyze this, I'm gonna be choosing combinations of colors to be able to use as base tone, but it's going to be different because there's going to be a twist in terms of giving base tone. So first, let us choose the pencils that I will use for the base tone. I'm gonna be using two kinds of base tone. We have the light base tone and then the mid tone that will provide a very nice darker mid-tone as base tone also. So you will see it right here, and what I chose are these colors. Of course, this one, which is, what color is this? This is the nectar, and then I'm gonna tone the nectar with a little bit of this yellowish color. This is the yellow ochre. So a little bit of this yellow ochre combined with the nectar, that is the light base tone. And then for the mid-tone, I think I'm gonna be using this color. This is the clay rose combined with this darker color, which is chestnut. So this is the clay rose and the chestnut. Yeah, I'm gonna combine these two. This is for the lighter tone, this is for the darker tone or the mid-tone. So how I'm gonna use it, you watch out. First of all, I'm gonna get this sharp cutter knife, and what I do is I'm gonna sharpen these 4 pencils to expose a bigger lead and a thicker lead, because if I use a regular sharpener, it's not going to expose like an inch of the lead of this Prismacolor. This technique is not very popular to use with Prismacolor with color pencils, but I'm gonna try this. Okay, so I'm gonna sharpen all of these 3. So now we already exposed the lead of these 4 pencils. Now we're going to get them powderized. Okay, and now I'm gonna get one of my favorite drawing tool, and this is the sharpener clip, metal clip right here. It has a very gritty metal surface right here that can powderize anything. It can powderize colored pencils, pastels, graphite, charcoal. So if you want really nice, smooth, powderized pencil, you can just use this. So I'm gonna get my first pencil, which is the Nectar, which I'm gonna be using as a base tone right here, but I'm not going to apply it directly as a pencil, but I'm gonna use this tool to powderize my Prismacolor. So this is the Nectar, so let us powderize it right here. So I don't want to press hard because Prismacolor is very easy to break, so I just do it with a little bit of a light pressure right here, just enough to get the powder of the Prismacolor. I think we need a little more of this pencil because the majority of the skin tone is made out of this tone, the Nectar. Okay, so I think this is going to be enough, this powderized Prismacolor Nectar. Now I think I'm gonna add a little bit of a yellow tone here just to get the correct tone for our skin tone. So we just, the same side of the sharpener, I'm gonna have some powderized yellow ochre. It's just like a paint, where we are combining for the shade that we want. So I just wanna add a little bit of a yellow tone for this powderized base tone, because the Nectar is already a bit, pinkish. So what's lacking is just a little bit of this yellow ochre. Just a little bit. We don't want this to be overly yellow. So I'm just gonna brush. So there is a very nice yellow tone already. Let's start to mix it. Okay, so I think I'm satisfied already with this tone. Now let's make a darker tone for the mid-tone right here. So this is the Clay Rose Prismacolor. Just gonna have some of this powderized Clay Rose. So again, this is the Clay Rose. I think we have enough powder to use for the mid-tone. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add a little bit of this color here on the Clay Rose. This is the chestnut. This is a bit reddish and a bit darker. The ratio I think is just about 1:2. 2 parts of the Clay Rose and 1 part of this chestnut. So here it is, our powderized base tone. We have a lighter tone and darker tone. And if I know what you're thinking that isn't it too dark for the base? It will not be very dark because this is powder, and at the same time we are going to be using brush to apply it, and it's not going to be as dark as you can expect into a pencil form when you apply it as an actual pencil. But here we are applying the Prismacolor as in a powder form, so it's not going to be very dark, or dark enough to provide us with very nice solid base tone. Okay, now I'm gonna clean my brush using this liquid brush cleaner. It's some sort of like a solvent right here, because we want to start with a very clean brush. Okay, now I'm gonna paint this lighter base tone right here on the entire face. So I'm using a soft brush. This is an actual makeup brush. Using a circular motion with light pressure. So you need to do this section per section. I'm gonna blow off some of the excess powder. Okay, so we're almost done with our base tone right here. Okay, so the actual purpose of this one is to hide the tooth of the paper. So we might not need to burnish too much because this base tone will help us to hide the tooth of the paper. But because we applied it using soft brush, we were able to preserve the tooth of the paper that we will use to layer the actual colored pencils. Now I'm using cotton balls to even out everything and to make sure that everything is smoothly applied. So this kind of technique is perfect if you are using wax-based colored pencils but you want details. You want to still have the skin textures and details because you tend to lose it when you use wax-based pencils, especially if you are doing the burnishing technique. So here we are applying a base tone in order to hide a little bit the tooth of the paper, so we may not need too much burnishing, and so that we're going to be preserving our details, the skin tone that we tend to lose through burnishing. So this is the first layer, the lighter tone, and in a while we are going to apply our second layer, which is a bit darker, for the darker shadows. Now we move on to our darker powder right here, the powderized Prismacolor. So we are gonna use it for the dark shadows. We don't need to be super accurate with this. It doesn't have to be super clean because this is just our base tone. As you can see here, the powder becomes very light when we applied it on paper, and this perfectly light and subtle undertone should provide us with very nice base tone. It should help us to make layering the colored pencils a little bit easier and quicker, and hopefully it would allow us to preserve the details of the skin tone with just minimal burnishing or blending. Now I have done the first eye, as you can see, the left eye. Now I'm gonna show you how I did that eye here on the second eye, the right eye right here, and I made this video a little bit slower for you to observe closely how I did the actual eye right here, and I'm gonna indicate all the colors that I use. So here because a lot of you are asking me to start on the eye part, and because on my past videos I've been starting on the skin tone already, and now I realize that you need to see the actual drawing of the eyes. So here I will do exactly what I did on the left eye. So here I start with the black. You're not supposed to start with black. It really depends on the reference photo, because she is wearing very heavy makeup that is almost black on some parts. That's why I use the black. Only on certain occasion you will use the black on the skin tone, because normally with male reference photo you don't need to start with the black. You end with the black when you add the hair, like the eyelashes, on the eyes, and on the eyeball, is that what you call it, or the retina of the eye if the person is black-eyed. But blue-eyed people, you have to use different shades of blue or green to capture the retina or the eyeball. And now this part is supposed to be the white part of the eyes, but it's not really white. Actually it has a lot of colors to it, very light and very subtle, but it is made out of a lot of combinations of different colors, like what you see here. So it's not really white. Actually this supposed to be white part is a bit complicated also. Just like the skin tone, you need to layer it, you need to blend it, and I burnish it because I can see that this is really nice and smooth.
but I did do heavy burnishing to it. So electric eraser, very useful. Now I'm gonna start with the actual skin tone right here, because I know that you already saw how the eyes, or the actual eye is done, but the skin tone around the eye is not yet done. Now we are going to start with the details. Before layering the actual skin tone, I'm gonna start drawing the details. As you can see here, there are tiny wrinkles right here, and there are some pores that is very visible. I don't know why I love skin details. I love to make complicated skin tones, even with colored pencils that are not supposed to do very complicated skin tones, which is the Prismacolor, which is wax based. Prismacolor is usually used for smooth skin tone, burnished skin tone, but here I'm using it just like how I use oil-based colored pencils. So, which is really nice, because I know that Prismacolor is still capable of creating detailed skin tone, as you can see here. But wait till you see the part 2. You will see exactly how I did this skin tone, how I blend it very easily, how I layered it very easily with the help of this base tone. You will see all that, the exact details of blending and layering, in part 2 of this tutorial video.